He's navigating the little sideways action here. But man, it's been awful, really. I mean, after like the first hour and a half of the day, really not much going on. But if you were with us early, we had some fun with this stock. And if you guys, well, I don't know if you see my screen or
mine's up currently. You want to switch?
I could show you briefly. Yeah, this stock. See that price at 250? That was us selling it before. And we were in a little late, but 143 got us up to 250. I gave it a shot just a little while ago, but it failed. I'm looking at monkeypox right now. Monkeypox. I don't know. I saw a headline go through. This is the monkeypox stock. I saw something go by, monkeypox something. And then I saw volume coming into the stock. So, little late VWAP break. I bought some, but there's zero going on. Generally, on days where there's not much going on, you're not supposed to do too much. And there really hasn't been much to do, even at the beginning of the day. Is that just my opinion, or is that the common consensus here? Right, Palantir this morning. By the way, here's some of the trades that we did do this morning. Lunar long was pretty good. Faux show bro. That orange line is prior day VWAP. Once it got back above it and tested it, right there, starts to lift off. We bought it in this area here, 1177. Top ticked it also. Again, on choppy days, you will be rewarded by selling into moves. And every once in a while, you do sell something at the high of the day because that's kind of what chop looks like. It's going sideways most of the day. ASTS. But one of the easiest ways to avoid chop is to not trade. Simple solution to a simple answer, or simple answer to a simple question. What to do? Nothing. But this is another typical bullish day where the market spent pretty much since 1148 trying to convince you that it was going to go down more, and it never did. Not even once. It didn't even test prior day VWAP. So this is more or less an inside bullish day, which is common. We sold off on Friday, no follow through to the downside, and we consolidated the little bounce. And tomorrow will be important because today's lows and yesterday's lows will probably come into play. That's if you believe that there's going to be another sell-off this year, which chances are there won't be. And then if you're in my camp is we're just huddling down waiting for Nvidia because nothing really matters until then. So I'm not even coming in tomorrow. I won't be here. I won't be trading. I won't be looking at the market until more or less Wednesday afternoon, and we'll be here to navigate you through the earnings if you guys trade aftermarket. But more importantly, after those earnings come out, I'll show you how to trade Nvidia the next day, because the levels that show up in the aftermarket quite often get repeated the next day and then give you nice targets. The moral of the story is when there's nothing to do, don't do anything. It's called forcing trades. We just had one of the most active years I've seen in the last 25 years. A couple of choppy nothing days is warranted. But, these levels that you're looking at, if you're just joining us for the first time, the orange line is prior day VWAP. The red lines were trades that we were looking for support and resistance at throughout the day. None of that matters now. But today's lows and Friday's lows will be very important if there's going to be any selling. And I'm talking about for the rest of the year. Now, if Nvidia reports bad earnings, which they won't be bad. It'll be just about how people react to it. Are they awesome enough to keep the momentum going? Can't answer that for you. But if they're not good, then we're probably going to break today's lows and yesterday's lows. But more importantly here, Trump, this one's actually moving this afternoon. It's one of the only stocks that are actually moving in the afternoon. So caught this one earlier, but it got halted, came out of the halt, broke new highs, decent reason to buy. Wouldn't be chasing it now with 20 minutes left in the day. But, that's more or less the only stock I've seen. And I watch about 600 stocks a day, scanners. Not much going on. And if you're in the, if your attitude is, hey, you should be able to find a trade no matter what time of day it is, because if you're a good trader, you should be able to do that. It's incorrect. It's the wrong way to think. It's not how it is at all. Trades find you. And once you understand price action, once you find that idea, then you just trade the action. Yeah, for instance, Trump right here, the last decent price to buy it was 30.25, because there at least you were only risking maybe 75 cents. And again, with 20 minutes left in the close, on a nothing day, you usually have nothing going on until the close. So the less you do, the better. But when the stock is in play, it usually stays in play. So, for instance, if you just bought this break, that's your stop at 31.13, where it broke the new high. 31.65 gets you 31.75, 37.70, 175 gets you $2. Chances are it's going to 32 right now. Sellers will be waiting for you up there. Breaks 32, goes to 32.50. And those are just standard increments that these stocks tend to trade in. It just hit 31.96. Some sellers out there. Close enough to 32. Yeah, put it on the screen here. And when you see big size on the offer getting bought, here you see, too late now. But there was flashing big size at 31.99, and it all got gobbled up on time and sales. So when I say a stock from 30, when it breaks 31, generally goes to 32.50, you understand that's just market mechanics. That's when you have momentum. There are prices that these stocks are all programmed to go to. These are all pre-programmed. The entire market's pre-programmed each day, what they're going to do. It's whether or not you have the courage to follow along. And, the VWAP's always a great place to buy. This is the VWAP before. And here you go, 32.30. If it doesn't go to 32.50, don't bite my head off. These are just rough estimates, but I'm talking about, when we trade, all we trade is stocks where we can identify the risk, and then we go back to where we believe things are going to go. So when a stock breaks 30 with momentum, especially when something like this, which is really, really, pretty active stock all the time, you get to about 32.50. And sorry, you didn't get there exactly, but you got 32.41 out of it. There you go. So even if you just bought that last break at 31, you got paid the extra $1.50. Not bad. Still in play. So now you see the bottoms of these candles. Those are now new stops for people that are involved. So you sell into the move. You sold. Usually I'll look at bottoms of candles and tops of candles. If they match up, that's where I look to sell. So the bottom of that's 31.50. So I would stay in it long until 31.50. But it's easy to stay in something if you sold some while it's going up. And now you're sitting with a little bit left. You're hoping it breaks 32.41, 32.41. Remember, at 32.50, well, almost hit it there. He was 6 cents away. At 32.50, they do what's called a rug pull quite often, especially late in the day. Hits 32.50, the sellers are up there waiting for you, and they just drop the bid, and then everybody gets stopped out. That's why you sell on the way up towards the 3250. So if it goes to 3250 now, right? Again, 44, 41, pretty damn close. If anybody did jump in on this from the original move or even this last move from 31, you sell here. You got 16 minutes left in the day, right? You're running out of time. You probably don't want to hold it into the aftermarket. Just hit a triple top. And there you go. Now, if you didn't sell some at 32.50, please do so. And now you know for sure where you're selling the rest, right? So if you didn't sell 32.50, you just sold, right? Good for you. Now you sold it, right? So now the bottom of this candle, raise your stop to, let's call it, let's go 31.72 right here. So none of these red candles, none of this red stuff means anything to you. You sold some 32.50. Congratulations. You just witnessed market mechanics at its best. $30 gets you 32.50. And then some. Overshot it by an eighth of a point. It's not a big deal. Eighths of a point, about 12 cents, right? So now the top of the shelf right here, what is that? That's 31.64. So you let it breathe $1. You're running out of time anyway. I wouldn't hold it into the aftermarket. But if anybody did take this trade, again, this is what I'm trying to explain to everybody. Nobody caught the first move because it came out of nowhere. All you can do now is trade the ranges, and the ranges are set by candle highs and candle lows. Right? So then when you bought this 31 break, you were going to, your stop was 30.64, 30, and 29.56. Right? But now you're up here. So let's say you're still in it. So now you raise those. These don't matter anymore. The closest, now you got to raise it up because it broke 32.50. So these are pretty big candles, right? So now the bottom of this candle right there, that's the 32.10. So now you say, all right, I'm going to hold till 33, big fat whole number, sell here. And now you don't sell the rest until it breaks 32.18 if that happens. And if there was more time to the day, we would keep going with the stock and it would probably go to 35 and then 37.50. And there's 33 sold to you. Now you sold it, right? Now the bottom of this candle is now your last stop, 32.56. So now you sold at 33 because you're not a maniac, right? Can't believe you're making money at the end of the day here. Wow, look what we found, right? So now the bottom of the candle where it just broke the new high, that's your only stop. And now you're thinking maybe this is going at 35. Why not think that? But on the way to 35, you should do something at 33.50. And again, if you have even 100 shares left, sell 20 shares right there. Sold to you, 33.50. Now you got 80 shares left. What do you think you're looking for? You're looking for 34. Or you sell 30 more shares when it gets to 34. And then you raise your stop to the bottom of this candle. And that's how you stay in a trade. You sell a little bit on the way as it's going higher. And inevitably, they're going to get you. But who cares at this point, especially if you're in from 31 or let alone the 29 or 28.50 when I first mentioned it. And this is how you find ideas. Ideas find you. It's not the other way around. And now I would be done because when I sell out of stocks on the way up and they go violating the prices where I've sold some, like 33, I'd be down to the last 10% of this trade now. And the last stop is the 32.56. So if 32.56, you sell what you got left. If not, you hold it till, 3:59 and 59 seconds. I wouldn't hold it into the aftermarket. And you see, there's nothing else going on. Like, if you guys know, I watch plenty of stocks. I've got 4 scanners going. I'm looking at a million things all at once. It's like NASA command in my house. The only stock moving on Earth right now is this stock. So you stick with it. right? And Sega was moving a little bit until I bought more. But here, and this is talking about boring, right? About a half an hour ago, I bought this stock because it broke the VWAP late in the day. Oh, it's actually, no, sorry, I bought it here 612 on this little break. All right. And just waiting for something to happen. Nothing's happening. But I'm not going to sell it until the market tells me it's over, or I run out of time because I don't hold overnights. And if you just sold 32.50, congratulations. There you go. Wow. Trading. Here's another one for you, you crazy bastards. HCWB. Just bought it, right? So I'm in, right? HCWB. I'm in because it just flirted with the same exact price I bought it earlier. I'm in 131, right? What's my risk? Right there, 120. So I'm risking 11 cents. No question about it. This would be a hard stop because it just broke VWAP. It's testing from underneath. If it doesn't break through it, it's going to roll over and go to zero. But I'm not going to let it go to zero. My stop is the bottom of that range. So I bought 131 just now, just for kicks. I'm up 5 whopping cents. But you see the bottom of the range? That's my stop right there, 120. So for 11 cents, I could give it a chance to do something. And usually when these stocks try to make comebacks at the end of the day, considering it was as 250, I mean, obviously it was as low as 14 cents the other day. The stock will probably be at zero within 2 days. But it just little Kardashian bottom right there. You see where it broke out of that and then flirted with the VWAP? Again, I was hoping for this to be a little bit of a liftoff, and it's not really doing much. But, you know, like I said, we got 10 minutes left in the day. I don't normally trade too often at the end of the day. You know, something like Trump wakes up out of nowhere. Yeah, I'll give it a shot. But the indices are just floating around. Not much going on. Or indexes, however you want to pronounce it. And if you'd like to learn more about forcing trades, pick up my friend's book. Because every time I talk about something, I'm sorry I kept forgetting about this book that I want you guys to read. Failed Traders. In the book, it talks about all the mistakes that everybody always makes. Forcing trades. I think that there's 3 chapters on it. And if you have been hanging with us long enough, you know that there's a plethora, that means a lot, of ideas each day. So if anybody's sitting around going, oh man, I really need to find a trade, just send me $500 because you're about to lose it. Nobody needs to do anything. If a trade comes along and you could identify risk reward quickly enough, take advantage of it, put a trade on, know where your stops are, then you put a trade on. Usually, again, trading the close doesn't work because most of the activity has already been baked in. You'll have days where you're, ripping into the close, sure, but most of the time you're going to meander around like we're doing right now, and you will lose. It's a good time to review. It's a good time to, maybe start planning for tomorrow. Like Wednesday, we've got Nvidia earnings. That's why we're going to be here. It's a good time to see how things closed. Maybe some stocks that you own, like Lunar, this piece of shit, right? Trying to hang in there. You'd rather see it going up into the close, give you some encouragement like it did on Friday, which was ridiculous what it did. This is what it did into the close. How you doing? Stock rallied about $1.50 into the close. This was a 600 bagger on the options, meaning, six bagger. 600 bagger, that would be pretty cool. 6 bagger, 6 times your money. 6 times your money on earnings options. Also take into consideration what you're watching is the UVXY trying to make a little stand here. UVXY only goes up into the close when there's some fear. So it's trying to go up into the close. It made a turn. That's kind of implying that there might be some more sellers out there tomorrow. remember Friday's action was very, 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 very important. It's the first sell-off that actually lasted for more than 7 minutes in over 3 months. I'm not even joking. So today you made some of that that move back, but not a lot. Usually we engulf every sell-off within a day or two. So that's why I'm mildly bearish until we break, I think it was Friday's highs. And if we break today's lows and Friday's lows, then we are going to sell off another 3 or 4% on the Qs. And that, again, we're going into Nvidia earnings, so that's what's going to make us move or not. But you see how since the big up move, all we've done is stayed in this range. We haven't gone anywhere. We haven't even tested prior day VWAP. We more or less were hovering at VWAP for the last 4 or 5 hours. This environment, this sideways action, makes fools of us all because you're waiting for the bigger move and then it gives it back and then you're thinking it's going to roll over and then it goes right back. This chop will not just drive you nuts and cost you money, but it'll convince you that you might not know what you're doing. And you certainly do know what you're doing, especially if you're trading with us. So the less you trade during the chop, unless you're skilled like my friend Solid here and have some hourly VWAPs and different types of time frames that cater to the sideways action, you just do less. Take your size down or find a hobby. Pickleball is always good. It is getting cold out, but you can find indoor courts. Fishing is always good. And if Sega breaks the 620 into the aftermarket, maybe we're onto something. Running out of time, obviously I was hoping this thing was going to rip. I've seen it on some dumber news. There's some monkeypox news out there, so I bought the stock. That's really what it came down to. And if it does trade higher into the aftermarket, that's good. And again, I really wasn't planning on owning it. But sometimes if you're breaking the high of the day into the aftermarket, the illiquidity of the aftermarket, quite often you'll get a bigger move. And again, a bigger move on this stock would be 12 cents. But, it is what it is. But you see how the Qs pretty much didn't do anything since the morning session. It's been just bullish chop. Bullish, annoying chop. Because it didn't break out, didn't break down. All you had to do was sit with it. And who wants to just sit around all day, right? But that was what the market told you to do. But if you came here late, you were just enjoying my good buddy Solid doing his commentary. We navigate the markets. We're pretty much here all day, unless we have somewhere else to be like tomorrow. And, again, doing this 30 years, I know when to fold them. That's for shit sure. But let's go back to this Trump trade. Look where it went back to. So let's say you were the person that said, man, I wish I had bought it when it broke out of that price. Look where it went back to. It went back to that same exact price. That's why I draw my own red lines. The red lines are what I call prices of significance. And the prices of significance quite often get retested because that's how the market works, because it's all rigged to price. So if you deem a price significant and it comes back to that significant price and holds it, maybe you take a shot at 32 where you wish you had bought it before with that price of significance as your stop. And that's how you identify risk. And if you want to know where to draw those prices of significance, join the room. Make sure you're here for this next class that I do in a couple of, 4 or 5 weeks. We just did one on Saturday. Went over it in very, very, very slow detail for 3.5 hours. We basically talked about 1 or 2 trades because each trade continues to set up. And if you can identify new levels, prices of significance, risk reward, then you could take any trade you want. For instance, like my friend who just bought the Trump at 32 bucks with the 75 as the out. So if you bought 32, here you go. And here comes Sega. What time is it? Oh, we got 9:59 seconds. If Sega breaks 620 in the aftermarket, maybe we do get our eighth of a point. So I'm hanging in there with some of it. I'm not planning on taking it overnight. And if you did buy that Trump back, congratulations. And what you just witnessed, my friend, right, is exactly how you should trade. 30 seconds left in the day. Be careful. If you make money on a name, you tend to want to go back to the name because you're in the ebb and flow of it. You're feeling it, right? You got 6 seconds, homies. 3, 2, and 1. By the way, that Trump rebuy was pretty good. So I don't know if there's any earnings coming out of significance. I think Walmart might be coming out, which is kind of cool because that's a big name. I could just check for you. Hold on. No. There's nothing coming out except Led Zeppelin's health company. You know about Led Zeppelin's health company? Yeah, you do. Come on, Zepp. Z-E-P-P. Everybody knows Zepp. But look at this Trump stock. See? Now, what a nice little rebuy for that person that was identifying risk. And now it's right back to where it came from. Look at how it's got right back to that same price. Boom. Bang. The market's all rigged. Well, if there was something coming out other than, I guess, yeah, SYM came out. Symbotic Incorporate. Great. Good for them. Stock's up 20%. So let's take a look. Now, here's one thing to point out, right? When I say the market's rigged, it's not a debate. It is rigged to price. This stock was programmed to go to 36 bucks. How do I know? Because it went to 36 bucks and hit it to the nose. Bang, bang. Hit it once, hit it twice. You know, the most volatile time of any stock's life is when they report earnings, the aftermarket action. So here in the aftermarket, this stock just reported. We've never heard of the stock before in my life, ever. And what does it do? Goes right to 36 once, goes to 36 twice, and then starts to sell off. Okay. That wasn't pre-programmed. Sure it was. So now tomorrow, well, I'll show you after this candle closes, a couple other tricks. All these candles in the aftermarket form the range that you're going to trade tomorrow. All right, bottom of that candle. Where's the bottom of that candle, Holmes? Look at the price at the bottom of that candle. Not 31.87, not 32.13, 32 to the penny, because it's all programmed. Half numbers and whole numbers and VWAP. That's how the market works. There is no more debate. That's how it works. So now you see it held 32. What did it get to? All right, so this one's a little off, 34.77. All right. So as it starts to form this range tonight, you come back and revisit. So for instance, let's say it stays between 32 and 34.77 for the rest of the evening. Tomorrow, if it breaks 32, you short it. If you see it open up between 32 and 34.77 and it breaks 34.77, you buy it. Because usually when one range break happens, it goes searching for its old friends up here. Old friend. Quick, what movie was that from? I'll give you one hint. Star Trek 2. Old friend. I leave you as I left. Deserted on a desert high planet. Buried alive. Buried alive. And you see that trade that just happened? You can't believe it just happened right before your very eyes, right? So tomorrow, again, I don't trade aftermarket action, but you see how it broke 34.77 and it ticked basically to 36 already? That's called range breaks, and that's just knowing price. So tomorrow, see that blue line? That blue line's VWAP. The orange line's prior day VWAP. So tomorrow, this stock will come out. You'll come back in, and it'll either be up here or it'll be down here. But it stays open until 8 p.m. So what your job would be is to watch it for a couple of more hours, come back later on, and see what it did. Quadruple top at 36, you know for shit sure it breaks 36 tomorrow. I don't care if it's up 26%. It's going to go higher. But if it's in the range that just formed, you're already seeing what you're going to probably do. Above VWAP, above 32, chances are you're going to want to buy it. And the trade tonight is telling you what you're going to do with it tomorrow. You don't have to speculate. You just wait for it to happen. And that's why what I hope to see tomorrow, not tomorrow, but Wednesday, is Nvidia, which I think everyone's under agreement the stock's going to 250. I don't care what you think. I'm telling you, it's going to $250. Not on Wednesday. Inevitably, right? So everyone's trying to find a reason to sell it, right? Even this guy with his commercial every morning. Oh, I got something else you should be buying about Nvidia. All the secret hedge funds are selling it. What's his name? Chalkin? Every morning on CNBC, he's going to tell you how he's the only one he knows. He's the only one on earth who knows what's going on with the Nvidia stock. Amazing that this guy is the only person on earth that has any idea what's going on. Amazing. Sign up to his service right now because he's got those great glasses and fantastic hair. But more importantly, nobody knows. You have a bias, right? So he's telling people everyone's selling out of Nvidia because he's got what they're putting their money into. Anyway, that's his premise, right? My premise is Nvidia is never going down ever again, ever, right? So if it's gapped down on Wednesday on whatever, something guidance, something, their chips are melting down, their chips cause cancer. It doesn't matter what they invent. It's going to be all bullshit, right? They're going to give you a reason to sell it. And then it's going to break VWAP, and everyone's going to buy it back because that's how the market works. So in my opinion, what I hope to see is that I hope it's down. I hope it's down on whatever they invent for the reason for it to be down. And then I'm going to show you where to buy it. Because if it's gapped up and it's just flying high, who cares? It's just going to be another bull market day. We never go down, blah, blah, blah. But it'll be more exciting if there's a reason that they make up that it is down. So then we could buy the dip. And I'll show you how important it is to trade VWAP on earnings days, especially on a stock like Nvidia. Because I don't know about you. I hope it's down. Because I know for a fact it's probably not going to stay down. And using VWAP as your guider or your thesis confirmer is really one of the most magic moments about VWAP. So that's why when I came in along lunar Friday or Thursday morning, and I was so damn excited, the next thing you know, it broke VWAP, and that ends your excitement. So that's what I love about VWAP mostly. It tells you if you're right or wrong. It's not me and my opinions. Everyone's got an opinion, right? not my opinion. But what VWAP does, it solidifies or validates your opinion. So if you thought that was going to sell off on earnings on Wednesday, whatever day that was, or 5 days ago, boop, 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 there it is. There was no reason I think we were going down when the market, pre-market, we were ripping pre-market, ripping, holding VWAP, holding support, ripping. And then it broke the VWAP and broke support, and the trade was over. So just like that Trump stock. Why was it ripping so much before he got elected? Because people got a little bit too overzealous shorting it, and then it got squeezed. Why did it sell off after he got elected? Because everybody who bought it sold it. And it was just trading around VWAP, and it was awesome. So, yeah, so I'm going to stay with you guys. And next earnings season, I'm going to probably start staying at till 3:30 to 5 to 4:30 more often, just to show you how these stocks trade in the aftermarket. Because if you could just, you get battle ready for tomorrow in the aftermarket tonight. I wish there was more to show you here. Trip.com. What is this, a penny stock now? Yeah, right. There's no volume on it. You got Haktua reported earnings. Is this a real stock? TUYA? Really? Haktua? She has her own stock now. It's $1.75. Nobody cares. They're really, there really isn't anything. Even Zeppelin Health. I joke, but it's a real stock. There's nothing to talk about this afternoon. But tomorrow morning, I'll be here for about an hour. Walmart, Lowe's. If you want to see the pre-market action, make sure you're here a little bit earlier. They start rolling in around 7:30. Walmart reports at 7, Lowe's 6. A couple of worthless car companies are reporting. I'll show you how to do that too. And then all it is accepting your fate that the market is rigged. All right. So once you have the prices of significance, you know that they're probably going to stay around those prices. And then VWAP will tell you all the rest. And you see how this thing failed, and then it rolled back over. Where do you think it's going to go back to? It's probably going to go back to test that 32. What price is that? 32.64. Doesn't hold 32.64. It goes and retests the other price, which is that 32. Breaks 32. It's going to give it Jerry or back. So for instance, let's say the stock does stay in this middle range. And you see it tomorrow breaking 32.64. You know that's a significant price because that was a pivot in the aftermarket. The more you know, the more you know. The more you know about the price and where exactly it went to, helps you make your informed decision tomorrow. And actually, it's beyond an informed decision. It is the decision. For instance, let's say you're long the stock at 33 and change. You know you're going to sell it at 32.64 and 32. Underneath it, if it breaks through the 32, its chances are it's going to go to 32.64. So all the work you do tonight, you revisit that work. You see some prices of significance, and stocks just tend to trade back and forth to those prices. And that's trading. And once you start to establish price and understand VWAP, prior day VWAP, you'll have price, you'll have VWAP, prior day VWAP, and that's all a stock can possibly do in one day. There's not many things it can do. It can either go up, down, or sideways. And if you have all the significant prices right there in front of you, you just trade around those significant prices. You know, some days are a little bit more active than today. But, you know, as far as we're concerned, as long as you make a day's pay, it was a fantastic day. If you bought the dip on Palantir, this is what we call the faux show bro. Got paid on a long here. Lunar, obviously, same exact trade. You'll start to notice it's the same exact chart. Breaks the low of the day, flirting with prior day VWAP, comes back above it. You're a buyer. Qs were also pretty damn good. Right? You know, this was the best trade of the day, really. breaks the low of the day, comes right back, breaks VWAP, and that's why we call it the faux show bro. Fake out, shake out, breakout. All right, this and much, much more tomorrow and the next day. And then it'll be Thanksgiving. And I'm telling you right now, if anybody trades on Thanksgiving, the day after Thanksgiving, I'm going to come to your house and shove that leftovers down your freak in your feet. Don't trade Friday after Thanksgiving, right? You're hungover. You shouldn't be there. Nothing good's going to happen. But if you want to hang out and just educate yourself a little bit more, chances are I'll wake up around 9:30, 10 o'clock, depending on how much my cousins and I drink. I'll come on, but nobody should even trade. It's an awful day to trade historically. Low volume, choppy, just grossness. But every once in a while, it's okay. But most of the time, it's not. But if you're here and you want to come and hang out, maybe we'll just use it as a class. But you should pull off the buy buttons off your screen that morning, or the sell buttons for that matter. Usually it's a bullish day. Wait, I want to show you something. See how the Q's just printed at 502.14. You see it? That's where we're going tomorrow. Matrix just told us. Every once in a while, it slips and shows its price. There it is. Oh, 502.14, now 503. There, where was those? 502.14, what was that? The high of the day? Just right. What was that? 502.14? Oh, sneaky. I guess that's where we're going to open up tomorrow. I take everything into consideration. Weird prints out of the market. But my friends, this today, I have to say, was one of the most boring days of the year. I'm here every day. This was probably one of the most boring days of the year. You know why? Because when the market tries to go down, it just slows down. They don't want to let the market go down. Or if you think of the market as a living, breathing entity, it doesn't want to go down. So when it wants to go down, it just goes into hibernation, and it goes to sleep long enough for you to stop thinking about it going down, and then it goes back up. So if you want an old adage of the market, boring is bullish. And as the kids used to say back in the day, never short a dull market. But very important key levels. Today's VWAP, prior day VWAP. Look how you got the prior day VWAP. Today was the high. And if this market's going to do anything to the downside, it's going to have to break today's lows and, of course, break Friday's lows. And then we could have a party on the downside, and we'll see where we end up. But I think we're just going to hover till Nvidia earnings Wednesday afternoon, and then probably rip higher because it is a bull market that never ends. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow for a couple hours, and then I'm out of here. If you guys are in the city, drinks are on Solid and Spencer and JC. We'll be at the convention. I'll be wearing a nice shirt. I might even wear a jacket. Ooh, fancy. Drinks are on Spencer. I'll see